Welcome back, Cult Lords fans. Here to do another movie review for you. And this is, I know, been on all of your lists. It's Cocaine Bear. Oh, yeah.
I heard cocaine was good for you.
Used to be in Coca-Cola. A little pick-me-up,
It's a health tonic.
It was a health tonic, yeah.
Solved all ills.
Yep. So, thanks for coming in. If you're new to the Cult Lords channel, please hit subscribe. We put out content every day. Movie trailer reactions every day. Movie reviews once a week. We got music, episode reactions, and series reactions. All kinds of stuff going on. So if you hit subscribe, you'll get into the rhythm of seeing us in your feed. And I know you want that.
Isn't that a song? Get into the rhythm.
Well, I don't know. And make sure to hit like. We always need double-digit likes. And then tell us in the comments what you thought of Cocaine Bear.
Epic ballad.
And did you give it nearly the same score that we gave it? We'll see. We will see. But first, we always like to start our movie reviews with a drink. Dane, what are we drinking today?
Well, this seemed apropos. We're drinking Bearface. Got some nice claw marks on there. It even kind of integrates into the label. Like the claw marks go to
Bearface?
They kind of thought about that,
yeah.
You know? But I'm excited to try this. This is the first time, one of those rare ones when neither one of us have ever tried this before. It's a Canadian brand, elementally aged 7 years, and it's in 3 different types of oaks. But the last one is Hungarian virgin oak. And the elementally part is basically, it sounds like they leave the middle oak out in the backyard for an extended period of time, get all the juiciness that comes with nature,
all right,
and then they soak it in. So let's see what this baby tastes like.
Yep.
Supposed to somehow make it a bolder, smoother drink.
Got a little ice on there, so. It's pretty smooth, actually.
It is pretty smooth.
Pretty smooth.
It's got some caramel, a little vanilla in there. It's more heavy on the vanilla, but...
That's right. So, Bearface.
Bearface.
Apropos for Cocaine Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to make an announcement here.
They had Cocaine Face. We could have paired them together, but
there
unfortunately...
we could have done some liquid cocaine. A liquid cocaine shot with some Bearface. But,
it's kind of hard to find the liquid cocaine these days.
No, it's a shot. It's it's a mix of Jaeger.
Oh.
You didn't do that in college?
No.
Cocaine, liquid cocaine?
I had Jaeger, but
yeah.
No, I didn't do liquid cocaine.
Yeah. Anyways, so making an announcement here. We are going to go into heavy spoilers. Spoiler alert!
Woo-hoo!
If you haven't seen Cocaine Bear yet, you're one of the very few in this world that has not seen it. Well, no, I don't know. But if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, hit pause. Go see Cocaine Bear. It's streaming now. It's out on Blu-ray now. You can go see it. You can find multiple places to watch it.
Very artistic cover, by the way. You know,
yeah.
It kind of looked like, it reminded me of the 300 cover we have in the background, the poster, the way this is done.
Yeah.
Doesn't it kind of look like that?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Same artist is like, let's make that bear I'm gonna attack.
So once you watch it, come back.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna talk spoilers. But before we get to the actual talking of the spoilers, that sounds like the airing of the grievances. You know what
Before
I mean?
we begin the airing of the spoilers.
Airing of the spoiler.
We need to cover the...
Yeah. You remember in Seinfeld when they would celebrate Festivus?
Oh, yeah.
They would have the airing of the grievances.
Yeah.
The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people.
Yes.
So
we're gonna have the airing of the Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Yes. We're gonna do the Rotten Tomato scores before we do the Cult Lords ratings. And Dane,
yes,
what would you guess the critics gave this?
Well, I'm gonna go low on the critics. I'm gonna say like a 6.2.
62%?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think the audience gave us?
80%.
So 62 and 80.
Yeah.
All right. The critics gave it a 67.
Ooh.
It's a little bit higher than...
Yeah.
It's still in the 60s.
I kind of thought they would have went on the little bit harsher side.
And the audience gave it a 71%.
Mmm.
So they were like within 4 percentage points.
Right.
of each other.
Which is surprising, because normally this kind of
71.
movie you would have thought it was a big difference.
Yeah.
But I said what? 80 and 62? 62?
Yep.
Wow.
All right. The most important scores, though, have yet to be tabulated and presented. Nope, we've tabulated them. We haven't presented them yet, and that's the Cult Lords ratings.
We need the accounting firm to bring them in. We
Yes.
should have hire somebody to bring in the
Yes.
scores.
All right. All right, so on the count of three, we're going to reveal the Cult Lords ratings. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Bear market.
Grin and Barrett.
We were kind of close there.
Yeah. We're kind of like the Rotten Tomatoes scores,
Yeah, pretty
actually.
close, yeah. I mean, I went lower than the audience, but higher than the critics, and you went a little higher than the critics, but way lower than the audience, right? Or a little bit lower.
Yeah, I'm actually in between the critics and the...
Man, that
That
bear!
bear back there?
I got that bear, he got out of the cage again! Man, I keep putting him back in there, but... He makes a really good liquor, though.
So, Dane, you gave it a 7.6. It's about a C.
Right.
What were things you liked about this movie?
Well, I mean, obviously the concept was... If you came into this movie not knowing the concept, then it would have been like, what? But it's been talked about so many times. So yeah, everyone kind of knew it. And it's based on a real story. So obviously real, quote unquote, a bear had cocaine and then suddenly went crazy. So there was a lot of funny elements to this.
So I don't think in the real life the bear killed anybody, though.
No, I think the bear died, actually.
Yeah.
It went like a little nutso, but it just fell asleep or something. And they kind of, in this movie, they made the bear be actually like an addicted person who's been, sucked into the...
strung out and
everything. Is this nonstop. Plus, I mean, they obviously were like, oh, the bears smell really well. So they'll just be able to track down all this cocaine spread all over the woods.
Yeah.
And then it was funny that the little bears were also like, let me in there too.
Oh, man. Is that against the law or anything? Minor bears being fed cocaine?
Being fed cocaine.
I don't know.
So... They had a lot of funny moments. The actors like Jesse Ferguson and the woman who was the ranger. These are people. There was a lot of people, by the way, that were in the Americans. Remember that show?
Jesse Ferguson, who's that guy.
He was the guy that was like climbing in the tree and like, let's go check things.
Yeah.
So I thought it was funny in a lot of ways. It was entertaining. You weren't bored really.
I have to say, the movie moved at a good pace. I was never bored, and it went fast. Mm-hmm. And it was unrealistic, and I did laugh out loud a few times, and so it was kind of a fun movie, right?
Right.
Could have been better, I think, though.
Yeah, it seems like they cut corners a little bit.
Like, for example, the sheriff, who's
the detective.
The detective, yeah.
I've
seen that guy.
Isaac Whitlock Jr. Yeah,
I've seen that guy. He's a comedian, and I've seen him before in other things where he was really funny. Mm-hmm. But his humor in this seemed really manufactured to me. Like it wasn't that funny. But when they were trying to make him funny, right? Yeah. And but it was really weird to see like Ray Liotta. Once again, one of his final roles, Yeah. Then there's Kerry Russell in this, you know what I mean?
So Elizabeth Banks, obviously, I think, had a lot of cachet to pull in these stars. Because if they weren't in this, the movie wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Right.
Because you had to have some level of celebrity playing all these small bit part roles to pull us in.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Ray Liotta shows up playing a drug dealer, and he's he's the boss of the drug dealers.
Yeah.
That one, his sidekick. That was one of the funnier scenes when the three guys attack the black dude in the bathroom.
Yes.
And he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Get him." Yeah. That was like, are you guys on drugs? And it just seemed really weird. How they're like,
they might have been on drugs because they did have a bag of cocaine with them.
That's true.
Another actor that was I was actually like impressed with his acting, but he's a comedian named Scott Seiss. Do you know who that guy is?
I have to see a picture.
He was the EMT.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he is the famous guy from TikTok that would do these he used to work for IKEA, and he would do these
Oh.
TikTok like reaction things where like, he would hear all the complaints customers gave. So he would do these reactions to the complaints, and it was hilarious. You know what I mean?
We're gonna have to put a little bit of
taste. That's where I learned
gonna
about
have a little
this guy.
taste of Mr. Scott.
I'd like to speak to your manager. I'd like to speak to your mother. Tell her she should be embarrassed. She raised someone to act like a baby in public. You want to speak to the manager, please? Manager doesn't know what's going on. Haven't you ever worked anywhere before?
That's where I learned about this guy, and he is hilarious.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and then, but to your point, he had a really bit role.
yeah.
I mean, if he's that funny, I'm surprised they didn't give him like, hey, a lot more to do. But,
Right.
But to that point, there was a couple of loose ends that didn't get closed off. Like the ranger gets smashed in the road by her face, and then like nobody does anything about it.
Yeah, I think she's dead, though.
Yeah, well, I assume,
Yeah.
but it was just weird because
Yeah.
there was all these like very graphic deaths.
Oh,
and then
there
they were
were
like,
some very graphic things in this of like arms getting bitten off,
Right.
and like legs getting broken in half and stuff. You know
right,
what
and the
I mean?
head getting ripped off.
Oh yeah.
It's like, do bears do that? I
Yeah.
mean, it was obviously this bear was like basically like souped up on huge adrenaline rush and.
I don't know if you follow Joe Rogan, he loves bears and he talks about bears all the time because he's always out hunting elk, so he's in the wilderness and he always has to worry about bears.
Right.
But he would say to you that black bears, I don't know if black bears can like rip your head off like this compared to like a big old grizzly brown bear, right?
Yeah.
So.
Plus, you find out it's a female bear.
Yeah, and you even
The
hear
mom
them.
bear.
They have a little thing like if it's black, you attack. If it's brown, get down. Right. Like play dead. Right.
Right. Which I'm assuming is BS. I hope no kids have taken that to heart.
I don't know.
Whatever. I don't know. I mean, that sounded to me like an old wives' tale. Like,
Well, I mean, it's
feet
like-
colds.
Like, have you ever seen those snakes that are always like red, black, and yellow? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then so there's an adage because half of them, if black is next to yellow, he can kill a fellow. If black is next to red, he's I don't know, he won't be dead or something like that. There's a wives' tale to that one too.
Yeah. Right.
But who knows?
Oh, yeah. I mean, at one point, somebody obviously came up with that and said, "Oh, it worked," and then
Yeah.
everyone just started following it. But I assume most bears are going to just do whatever how you react to them. I've
Yeah.
always heard stand up and make yourself as big as possible, and then like yell, like do not run, because they will chase you down.
Well, I don't think you ever run with any of the bears.
Yeah.
But I don't know if like getting up and trying to act as big as you can with a grizzly is the best advice.
Try to make as much noise.
I think
as
you're supposed to
possible.
ball, like get into a ball and like cover your face and head.
Well,
with
here
your
we go.
neck.
Perfect example of
What?
perfect example of the two sides of it. Your
Yeah.
case drop, and mine is like.
But no, that's for grizzlies.
Oh.
Other bears, you don't have to do that.
Oh, I always heard make yourself as big as make as much noise as possible.
Depends on the type
But
of
it
bear.
types on the type of bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right.
Some bears are pussies.
Yeah.
They just
Well, I love how they say based on a true story.
Yes. Very small true
It's
story.
it's like me writing a movie where D.B. Cooper is in a plane and he takes the money and he jumps out the airplane and then he goes through a wormhole, lands in Kansas, decides to change his name to Warren Buffett, starts investing the money and becomes one of the richest men in the world, and then say based on a true story.
Yeah.
Right? you can take anything to any extreme.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Right.
As long as there's that incredulity. Based
on
a
a
true
true
story.
story.
And actually on that note, at the beginning there, when the guy is like throwing the drugs out, and obviously he must have done them.
Yeah. Oh, he was. He was
Yeah,
hot.
that's Kerry Russell's husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was in The Americans with her, and then
Oh.
they ended up getting together after
So,
that. So
idiot
he always
jumps
shows up.
out and goes, boom, hits his head. They never even really mention it, like when
Right.
they show his body, but you can see the bruise on his forehead
Right.
where he hit his head.
So yeah, and in the directorial style, that was another thing. And I thought they did a good job with the way she filmed things. Like there was some music that was thrown in. They had like some good establishment shots. But yeah, I think to your point, it was like really the character development kind of fell short a little bit because, the detective, you find out, is what, he wants a dog, and then somehow he's a pussy, and he ends up with a shiatsu instead of like a lab, and he doesn't know.
And then his partner,
I know it's
who
supposed
he
to be
trusted,
funny, but it's just dumb.
Ray Liotta's insider. I mean, it was so. I was like, oh my gosh.
It's totally manipulated.
So, like, when she shows up there, like, what are you doing
Well,
there?
I didn't see that happen.
Yeah.
Did you see that coming, where she's like...
No, because it's so ridiculous for a movie like this that would happen. But, she...
Right, go ahead.
No, she just shows up, and I'm like, rolling my eyes, like, oh gosh.
Yeah, right. Well, and to that point, there was a couple of loose ends they never closed off, because, I mean, like, she revealed she's part of their drug gang.
Right.
So then... what happened with that? All they do is show the mom and the two kids walking, for whatever reason, walking out of the park. And you're like, why don't you wait for the cops to show up? Why are you just like, let's get out of here kind of thing? I mean, there was a lot of weirdness that it was like, this doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And then you don't find out, like, well, did they go after the female cop? Did anyone turn her in? Or did they just go
And
along
you know
with
what?
it?
We never saw the bear die, did we? The bear didn't die. He was up on the ridge or whatever, and everybody jumped to the water. And then I think he, like, kills Ray Liotta.
Get out of here!
And then that's it. Or the bear, right?
Right, the mom bear. Yeah.
So the mom bear
It just
lives.
Yeah,
Baby
and
bears
the baby bears live.
So what?
And I'm trying to remember, how did Ray Liotta... At one point, he was, like, hanging.
But it ends where the bear still has a bunch of kilos of drugs in the cave, right? And like, that's it? Okay.
Baby bears are like, yay, we got more drugs.
You don't think it's possible to have a cocaine bear too, do you think?
I mean, the only way it's possible is if somehow a bear discovers another huge cat. Because supposedly they never found the cocaine.
Oh,
right?
I know, yeah.
And that's what kind of fueled this whole thing, that maybe the bear ate everything or sniffed it all or whatever. But there was another bullshit thing where they were like, the bear's like eating the entire package with the tape around it.
Yeah.
And then it gets high. It's like, that would take so long to break down.
Well,
and maybe even not.
I think his heart would explode.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I guess they're dealing with the size, but never mind the fact that if you're not going to poop that out in that form. So, I mean, it just be that part completely destroyed our disbelief. Because I mean, I can believe a bear would tear up stuff and sniff it and do whatever it needs to do from that standpoint. But there's no way a bear's eating an entire package. They were going for laughs there, and it kind of like messed things up. But yeah, I mean, blood and guts were super realistic.
Right.
Anything else you want to point out that you really?
Well,
like?
I mean, it is interesting because, I mean, this is a B movie, but somehow they advertised during the Super Bowl, so they got a ton of buzz. They got all of America talking about Cocaine Bear.
Right.
Like, even my parents, who wouldn't watch this movie, but they were like, "Did you see that commercial for Cocaine Bear?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have actually." They're like, "Are you guys gonna review that?"
They didn't say like, "Could you get me some?"
No.
Sorry, his parents.
No. But I mean, the zeitgeist was talking about Cocaine Bear, so it actually did pretty well at the box office.
I can believe.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people are still talking about Cocaine Bear, even though it's been months since it's been released.
Right.
But people are still talking about it, and so here it is, a B movie that kind of goes mainstream a little bit and gets kind of popular. I mean, you don't see that too often.
This is definitely a movie that survived on pure buzz.
Yeah.
Because on its face value...
No pun intended, right?
Yes, no pun intended, but it definitely would not have survived without the amount of star power that was put into it.
Oh, yeah, it needed all that star power. It needed Elizabeth Banks going on all the...
Right.
The tour of, all the talk shows.
Actually, Carrie Russell did too, and even though She wasn't a main character. I mean, she was definitely, it really wasn't a main. That's the whole thing.
But she's the lead name in it. Like, she's got top billing.
Did she have top billing?
Yes, she did.
It wasn't
Ray Liotta?
Ray Liotta?
No, it wasn't.
I mean, he had a bit part, so.
No.
I mean, but that's what you needed. I mean, the movie worked because you had these very high-end actors doing a great job acting out their ridiculous parts.
But I don't know how much it cost to make this movie, but box office in just the U.S., $65 million. That's good.
That is good.
Because I bet you this movie didn't cost more than $10-15 million to make.
Yeah, because everything had to be CGI. There's no way they had like a person in an outfit in blue or whatever.
Yeah.
Just the whole. So actually, on that point, I was impressed with the CGI of the bear.
Yeah.
Because that really looked. I mean, how many times did they have a close up of him like with white on him or reblooding or attacking somebody? And you're like, that looks like a real bear. I mean, it wasn't fake looking.
Yeah.
It probably would have been worse if they had used like a puppet thing.
What was the one where? Oh gosh, was it somebody shot like a guy in the back of the head and it put a big hole in his head? I think it was one of the friends, the three guys that came in.
No, it was the ranger who did it. The ranger was aiming at the bear, and there was the three friends in the ranger shack, and she's like,
that's right.
Right through the head.
Through the back of the head, and like, there's a hole in it.
Right, and then the blood somehow is everywhere behind,
Yes.
which is like, I don't think it would work that. It goes that way, it doesn't go backwards.
Yeah, there was just some things that I like laughed because it was not believable.
It was ridiculous, yeah.
Well, so overall, I mean...
You were entertained.
But it wasn't a great movie.
Right.
Yeah.
It was more like, it's more like you watch it for the fad of watching it, as opposed to I'm going to go out of my way to like find a great movie, like stands up the test of time. Because 2 years from now, no one's going to be talking about this. Maybe 3. I don't know. I mean, I don't think this movie will last in the sense of Enter the Dragon. We talk about Enter the Dragon, you know what I mean? Like a movie that will like say, oh, that was the best movie ever, forever, or like a great movie or a cult classic. Yeah. I don't think this is going to fall into those territories.
So you don't think this would fall in like a cult classic, like in the vein of, let me try to think of something. Like, I can't even think. Like Sharknado.
Well, is that considered a
I think
cult
it is,
classic?
yeah.
Well, I agree, it's in that territory.
Yeah.
But I'm looking more cult classic in more the serious vein, like, Blade Runner or something like that. I mean...
This isn't like that, though.
Right. It's more of it had a... To your point, it captured the zeitgeist. It was over-the-top ridiculousness.
Right.
And a lot of people were interested to find out, how does a bear react to getting cocaine up the nose?
I don't know. We'll see. What will help determine it is if they do come out with a cocaine bear, too, of some kind.
Well, that's true.
It made so much money, they might want to try to capitalize on it, right? And I guarantee you Elizabeth Banks won't come back. It'll just be the studio handing it off to some up-and-coming people, and it'll be...
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, she might own the rights to the story.
Yeah.
I don't know how that... I mean, in this particular case, I don't know if she had to go to the news. I mean, maybe because it was public domain, she didn't have to worry about it.
It's public domain.
But she might have officially some kind of rights on it. But yeah, I mean, the only way they come out with a second movie is they have to completely change the premise in the sense that it is a bear, but it's a bear like in a zoo. Yeah. And it's a New York drug thing, and the bear and then it runs havoc in the zoo in New York and is like ripping people apart.
Or there's going to be some knockoff, and it's going to be like Heroin Pig. You know what I mean? Something like that. Heroin Pig. Meth pig.
Meth cow.
Yeah, so it'll be something like that.
The cow that takes down the town. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way. You're right. I mean, there's no way. It cannot repeat a bear finds cocaine in the woods. Right. There's no way.
Right. All right, well, I'd like to hear what the Cult Lords viewers think. What would you rate this on a scale of 1 to 10? Did you enjoy it more than we did? Did you enjoy it less than we did? Or are you about where we are, in that kind of D plus to C minus range, you know what I mean? So...
Are you entertained? Yeah. Were you entertained?
Yeah, let us know in the comments after you hit the subscribe button and the like button.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. I'd be interested to read your comments on this. So, all right, Dane. Yeah. Well, why don't you...
Check out my bear claws.
Bear claws.
Oh, I'm going to put a little cocaine on her. Peace out, everybody.
I know the sale ended last week, but can I still get a discount? Do you hear yourself? We can't go backwards. Time marches on. You want the sale from 15 years ago, too? When's it end, Diane? You want that price? You're going to have to go through the quantum realm with Ant-Man.